No one in the peaceful town of Ikunal ever imagined that Amara, a gentle black African woman known for her kindness, would one day become the center of a mystery that would shake the entire community, and eventually the world. Amara lived a quiet life. She was the type of woman who greeted strangers with a smile, who took care of her aging mother, and who spent her evenings writing poetry she never shared with anyone. She had dreams, simple dreams of peace, love, and a life filled with joy. But life had other plans. The morning everything changed. It began on a warm Sunday morning. Amara woke before dawn, sensing something unusual in her chest, a strange heaviness, like a hand pressing gently against her heart. She tried to brush it off as stress. She had been working hard lately, worrying over bills, caring for her mother, and juggling a job that demanded too much. Still something felt wrong. She stood near the window, watching the rising sun spread gold across the sleepy town. For a moment she felt dizzy. The world tilted. Her breath cut short. Her mother, Mama Igioma, called from the kitchen. "Amara, are you all right?" Amara wanted to answer. She opened her mouth, but no sound came out. Her vision blurred. Her knees buckled. And before she could call for help, everything around her dissolved into darkness. The silence between two worlds. When she opened her eyes again, she was no longer in her home. She stood in a vast, glowing expanse with no walls, no ground, just endless light. It wasn't hot or cold. Felt calm. Amara tried to breathe, but she noticed something terrifying. She wasn't breathing. Her heart wasn't beating. She felt no weight, no pain, no fear, just a strange, floating stillness. Am I dead? The thought echoed inside her like a whisper from somewhere far away. And then she heard a voice. Warm. Familiar. Amara, daughter of light. She turned, and before her stood figures made of shimmering brightness. Neither male nor female, neither young nor old. Forms of pure presence. Their faces were gentle, peaceful, impossible to describe. "Do not be afraid," one of them said. "You crossed the veil. But your journey is not complete." Amara felt a tremor of confusion. "What do you mean? What is this place?" "You stand in the realm between worlds," another answered. "Your time is not yet over. You will return. But you must carry a message." Amara frowned. "A message? To who?" "To the world. Back on Earth." While Amara stood suspended between worlds, her mother screamed for help. Neighbors rushed in. An ambulance arrived. The paramedics worked desperately, shouting commands, moving quickly, trying everything to restart her heart. 20 minutes passed. Then 30. Her body lay still, cold, lifeless. The doctor finally stepped back and checked the time. Time of death. 9:46 a.m. Mama Igioma collapsed in a wail that tore through the entire neighborhood. They zipped Amara's body into a white bag. But before they could move her, her finger twitched. Then her hand. Then her eyes flew open. Wide, terrified, glowing with something no one could explain. People screamed. The doctor staggered back. Amara gasped for air as if breaking free from underwater. She clutched her chest and whispered, "They gave me a message." Her voice trembled with something beyond human experience. "And the world must listen." The world around Amara blurred as she came back to life, if it could be called life at all. Her lungs heaved like they were learning to breathe again. Her heart hammered wildly, each beat echoing through her body like thunder. Everyone in the room stared at her as though they had just witnessed the impossible. 'Cause they had. The doctor who had declared her dead felt his knees weaken. One of the nurses screamed and ran out. Mama Igioma, trembling from head to toe, pressed her hands on her daughter's cheeks, crying and laughing at the same time. My child. Amara, talk to me. What happened? Where did you go?" But Amara could barely speak. Her tongue felt heavy, her lips stiff. She stared blankly at her mother, then at the crowd around her, then finally at her own hands, as though seeing them for the first time. The world felt loud. Too loud. Every sound, the ticking clock, the rustle of clothes, the faint humming lights, stabbed into her ears. Lights were too bright, colors too sharp, people's breaths too noisy. The realm she came from was quiet, gentle, peaceful. Earth felt like chaos. I. Amara stuttered, clutching her head. I can't, too much noise, too loud. Her mother quickly held her close. It's all right, my daughter. Take your time. But time was the last thing Amara felt she had. White medium star, everyone wanted to know what she saw. News spread instantly. A woman declared dead for 34 minutes had come back to life. People rushed to the house. Neighbors, church members, local reporters, strangers. Some shouted that it was a miracle. Others whispered that it was a sign. A few, frightened, said she had seen spirits and returned with something dangerous. Amara remained silent. Not because she didn't want to speak, but because she couldn't. Whenever she tried to remember what she saw in that glowing realm, her chest tightened painfully, as though invisible hands were holding her lungs hostage. And then came the voices. Not the peaceful voices from the realm between worlds, no. These were whispers behind her ears, breathing softly. Not yet. Wait. Listen first. Each whisper made her freeze in fear. Was she losing her mind? Well, deep inside she felt the truth. She hadn't returned alone. White medium star, the signs begin. That night strange things happened. It started when she sat in her room, staring at the wall, trying to quiet the noise in her thoughts. She felt a chill. Then the light bulb flickered, slow at first, then rapidly, as if reacting to her heartbeat. The air thickened. And suddenly she heard footsteps. Low. Approaching. But when she turned around, no one was there. Who's here? She whispered, her voice trembling. Silence. Then a breath on her ear. You must speak, Amara. She jumped from the bed, her heart thundering. Speak what? What do you want from me? A low hum filled the room. The curtains fluttered though the windows were closed. Her journal, usually kept locked inside her drawer, fell open on the floor and flipped rapidly as if invisible hands searched through it. Her mother rushed into the room. Amara, are you all right? I heard you talking. Amara pointed at the journal, terrified. It moved. Mama Igioma swallowed hard. Fear flashed in her eyes, but she forced a shaky smile. Maybe the wind. There was no wind, Amara whispered. Mother, they followed me back. Her mother stepped backward slowly. They? Amara nodded. The ones from the other side. The ones who told me I must bring a message. Then tell us the message, her mother pleaded. Amara shook her head violently. I don't know it yet, she cried. They didn't tell me the message. They told me to return to receive it. Her mother stared at her in confusion. You mean, you came back without the message? Yes. Her voice trembled. And they are not done with me. White medium star, the first warning. At midnight, Amara suddenly woke up gasping, her body drenched in cold sweat. A blinding light filled the room, not from the bulb, but from the corner near her wardrobe. The light pulsed softly like a breathing star. From within it came a whisper. Time is short. Amara clutched the blanket. What do you want from me? To deliver the warning. The world must choose another path. Which path? She asked, shaking. The light pulsed again. You will know soon. But be careful, Amara. There are forces who do not want you to speak. Those who wish to silence you have already begun to move. Amara froze, her blood running cold. What forces? No answer. The light faded slowly until her room returned to normal. But Amara understood something clearly. Her death had not been an accident. And her return was only the beginning. She whispered, What have I become? And somewhere in the unseen realm, something whispered back. A messenger. For the next few days, Amara moved through the world like a visitor from another land. Everything felt different. Sounds sharper, colors brighter, emotions heavier. Her senses were no longer tuned for only this world. She was between two realms. And both realms were starting to pull at her. White medium star. The town begins to whisper. Word about Amara's return spread far beyond their neighborhood. People traveled from nearby towns, eager to see the woman who died and came back. Some came with hope, some came with fear, some came with envy, and some came with intentions darker than shadows. Everywhere she walked, murmurs followed. There she is. The woman who crossed worlds. Is she still fully human? Maybe she brought something dangerous back. Maybe she opened a door that should have stayed closed. Amara heard every whisper, literally. Her hearing was sharp enough to catch conversations happening far behind her. She wished she could shut them out. But something else began to happen. Whenever she passed a person who had heavy sadness in their heart, she felt it, as though a wave of emotion had washed through her. Whenever she passed someone holding anger, she could feel the heat of their rage. Whenever she passed someone hiding guilt, she felt heaviness on her own chest. It was overwhelming. Her mother watched her with worry. "My child, are you sure you're all right?" Amara shook her head. "Mother, I don't think I came back the same person I was." White medium star. The night visitor. Everything changed the night a dark figure appeared at their door. It was almost midnight. The entire house was silent except for the soft hum of the ceiling fan. Mama Igioma had fallen asleep beside Amara, who sat on her bed staring at the ceiling, unable to sleep. Then came a knock. 3 sharp knocks. Not a friendly knock. Not a neighbor's knock. This was deliberate. Strong. Amara's breath froze in her throat. Mama Igioma woke up instantly, her instincts sharp. Who is knocking at this hour? Amara felt something cold crawl down her spine. "It's not someone," she whispered. "It's something." Her mother blinked. "What do you mean?" But Amara was already rising from the bed, drawn to the door by some unseen pull. The knocking came again. 3 slow knocks. She approached the door carefully. "Amara, leave the door," her mother whispered harshly. "Don't open it." But Amara didn't touch the door. She simply stood inches away from it, heart pounding. "Who is there?" she asked. Silence. Then a voice. Deep, calm, too calm. "You do not know the message yet, but others do. Some want you to deliver it. Some want you to be silent. Forever." Mama Igioma grabbed her daughter's arm tightly. "Don't answer it." Amara swallowed hard. "What do you want?" she whispered. The voice exhaled, a long, slow sound, almost amused. "To warn you." "Warn me about what?" "That your return has upset the balance. There are beings who do not wish a mortal to hold the knowledge you carry." Amara stepped back. "Knowledge? I don't even know the message myself." "Not yet," the voice replied. "But soon you will. And when you do, both the light and the darkness will come for you." The knock sounded one last time. Then silence. Mama Igioma hurried to the window, opened it and looked outside. No one. Not a single footprint. The road was empty, silent, untouched. Amara whispered. "They found me." White medium star. The mark on her skin. The next morning, Amara woke with a sharp pain on her wrist. She looked down and gasped. A mark, small, circular, glowing faintly like cooled embers, had appeared on her skin. Not carved, not bruised, not burned. Placed. Mama Igioma rushed over, eyes wide with fear. "What is this? Who did this to you?" Amara touched the glowing mark gently. It didn't hurt, but it vibrated, as though it were alive. "They left it," she whispered. "The ones from the other side." "For what purpose?" her mother asked, voice trembling. Amara closed her eyes. "To guide me, or to track me." She wasn't sure which. But one thing was clear. Something had shifted. Something had begun. And the mark seemed to respond to her fear, glowing brighter whenever her emotions spiked. White medium star. The unwelcome guest at the market. A few days later, Amara went with her mother to the local market to buy food. People stared as usual, some with curiosity, some with fear, some with awe. But one man stared differently. His eyes didn't blink. His posture too still. His presence too cold. He followed them through the market step by measured step. At first, Amara tried to ignore it. But when she turned sharply to catch him off guard, she saw his eyes. Black. Not dark brown. Not shadowed. Pure black like pits with no bottom. Her mother griped her arm. Amara, don't look at him. But it was too late. The man stepped closer, invading their space without hesitation. You carry something forbidden, the man whispered. His voice was not normal, too layered like several voices speaking at once. Amara felt her wrist burn as the mark glowed beneath her bracelet. What do you want? She asked, struggling to stay calm. The man smiled, but the smile didn't reach his eyes. To stop you. Before Amara could react, the man raised his hand, not to strike, but to touch her glowing wrist. The moment he made contact, the mark flared brightly. There was a flash of light. A gust of air blasted outward as though something had repelled him. The man staggered backward, eyes widening with a mixture of shock and hatred. He hissed. A shield. They gave you protection. No matter. They cannot guard you forever. Then he turned and walked away, disappearing into the crowd as though swallowed by the shadows. Mama Igioma clutched her daughter tightly. We must leave this place. Now. Amara nodded, her whole body shaking. She finally understood. This wasn't random. This wasn't a mystery. This was a battle. The forces of light wanted her to deliver the message. The forces of darkness wanted to silence her. And she was caught in the middle. Her death was not an ending. It was an invitation. Dangerous one. For several nights after the encounter in the market, Amara could not sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she heard whispers. Gentle at first, then slowly clearer, like voices calling her from distances far beyond the living world. Some voices felt warm. Others felt cold. All of them wanted something from her. The glowing mark on her wrist pulsed softly in the darkness, like a heartbeat that didn't belong to her. Even her mother stopped pretending everything was normal. Amara, Mama Igioma whispered one dawn morning, touching her daughter's forehead. I don't know what you brought back from the other side, but it is changing you. Amara didn't argue. She felt it too. White medium star, the dream that wasn't a dream. That night, Amara finally drifted into sleep, but not into rest. She found herself standing on a vast plain with no sky and no ground, only swirling lights that moved like ribbons. Every color shimmered, bending around her as though she were underwater. Then a shape formed in front of her. A figure she had seen before. The guide from the other side. But this time he wasn't calm. Something urgent flickered in his eyes. You are running out of time. Amara's breath hitched. What is happening to me? Why did that man in the market attack me? What is this mark on my wrist? The guide stepped closer. You crossed the border between worlds, Amara. You saw what humans are not meant to see. You touched truths that belong to both life and afterlife. That alone shifted the balance. Amara swallowed hard. But I didn't ask for any of this. You were chosen, the guide replied gently. Not forced. Your soul responded when the door opened. Amara stared at him, confusion and fear swirling like storm clouds. Chosen for what? The guide raised his hand, and the plane around them changed, twisting until it revealed scenes, images, visions. White medium star, the vision of the coming shadow. First, she saw people, crowds of people, rushing through their daily lives, each carrying invisible burdens. Sadness, anger, anxiety, hopelessness. Dark clouds hovered above them, feeding on their pain. Then the vision shifted. She saw wars rising, not physical wars but emotional ones. People turning against one another. Communities breaking apart. Families splitting. Hearts growing cold. The world was drowning not in danger, but in disconnection. Then she saw the future as a shimmering thread. In that thread she saw a spark of light. Frail. Barely surviving. That spark, the guide said, is hope. It is fading. Amara trembled. What does this have to do with me? You saw the world from beyond, he replied. You heard the cries of countless souls. You understand what many have forgotten. The light around them dimmed. You carry the message the living world needs. A message that can restore hope, heal hearts, mend broken relationships, and remind humanity of something they have lost. Amara felt her chest tighten. And what message is that? The guide looked at her with eyes full of sorrow and love. It is not a sentence. It is a truth. Then tell me. He shook his head. You must feel it. You must discover it inside yourself. Only then can you speak it. Amara stepped forward, frustration boiling. People are following me. Someone is trying to stop me. I have no idea what I'm supposed to say. Why won't you just tell me the message? The guide whispered. Because if I speak it, it becomes my message. If you discover it, it becomes the world's message. Amara's anger melted into helplessness. So how do I discover it? The guide touched the glowing mark on her wrist. This mark connects you to both realms. It will reveal the message when the time is right. But be warned. The plain around them darkened until shadows rose like towering columns. Where there is light, darkness gathers. The one who followed you is not the only one. More will come. They wish to silence the message before it reaches the world. Amara felt a cold wind rush through her. Why me? She whispered. I'm just an ordinary person. He smiled faintly. There is nothing ordinary about a heart willing to die and return with truth. Then his voice echoed louder as the dream faded. Find the message before the darkness finds you. White medium star, a new ability awakens. Amara woke with a scream. Her mother rushed in, panicked. But Amara wasn't looking at her. She was staring at the wall. Because she saw more than the wall. For the first time since her return, she saw threads of light woven around people. Around her mother, around herself. Threads invisible to human eyes. But now visible to hers. Mama, she whispered, trembling. I can see emotions. I can see people's pain. I can see what they hide. I can see the things that connect us. Mama Igioma didn't understand, but she hugged her tightly. Whatever was happening, her mother believed her. She always had. White medium star, the gathering crowd. By midday the word had spread again. People began arriving at their compound. First in small numbers, then in dozens. Some came asking for blessings. Some came crying for help. Some came just to see her. But one woman, elderly, dressed in white, walked up slowly and bowed. My child. You are the one who crossed beyond. There is a message in you the world must hear. Amara stepped back. You believe that? The woman looked deeply into her eyes. It is not about belief. It is about knowing. She lowered her voice. And the darkness knows it too. They will come in greater numbers. Amara's heart pounded. The woman continued. You must discover the message soon. Because when the final sign appears, the choice will be taken from you. What final sign? Amara asked. The woman touched the glowing mark on Amara's wrist. When this mark turns from gold to white, your time will run out. Amara felt fear crawl through her chest. Because even as the woman spoke, the mark was already beginning to change. Just a little, but enough. White medium star, the feeling of impending storm. That night, Amara sat outside under the moonlight. A quiet breeze brushed her skin, but inside her heart everything felt loud. She thought about her death, her journey beyond, the guide's warning, the man with black eyes, the mark on her wrist, the people gathering at her home, the visions of the dying spark of hope. She whispered into the night. What is this message I'm supposed to bring back? What truth is so important that darkness itself wants to stop me? She closed her eyes. And then, softly, the mark on her wrist pulsed. A small voice inside her mind whispered. You already know. Amara gasped. No, I don't. But the voice whispered again. You carry it in your heart. You carried it even before you died. That is why you were chosen. Amara swallowed hard, feeling tears gather in her eyes. Her breath shook. 'Cause deep down, Something inside her began to awaken. A realization. Truth. Small at first. Faint. Almost shy. But growing. Like light returning to a dark room. She didn't say it aloud, not yet. But she felt it. And it terrified her. For 3 days, Amara felt the world shifting around her. The mark on her wrist glowed more intensely with each passing hour. More people gathered outside her home, seeking hope, healing, answers. And the feeling of danger grew heavier, like a storm cloud following her every step. Everyone could sense something was coming. Even the air felt different. But Amara herself had not yet spoken the message the spirits told her she must deliver. Because she still didn't understand it fully. Not until the night everything changed. White medium star, the night the world stood still. On the third night, while the village slept, a strange wind rose across the land. It was warm, thick, and heavy, like the breath of something ancient. Amara couldn't sleep. Her heart kept pounding with a rhythm that wasn't her own. She stepped outside her room and her breath froze. The entire village was standing outside. Not speaking. Not moving. Just staring at her house. Hundreds of people. Children. Mothers. Fathers. Elders. Strangers. Travelers. Their faces glowed softly, illuminated by the strange moonlight. Her mother grabbed her hand. Amara, something is happening. They said a light came from the sky and pointed at our roof. Amara swallowed hard. 'Cause she felt it too. Something was calling her. Not from the sky. But from inside. White medium star, the return of the man with black eyes. A loud rustling came from the edge of the crowd. Heads turned. People moved aside slowly, fear gripping their faces. The man with the black eyes, the one who had recognized her in the market, was walking toward her again. But this time he looked weaker. Sweat drenched his clothes. He shook with exhaustion. His dark eyes pierced through the night, searching for Amara. Her mother stepped protectively in front of her. But the man knelt on the ground instead. "Amara, forgive me," he whispered, his voice trembling with relief and terror. "I came not to harm you, but to warn you." Amara stepped closer, her voice steady. "Who are you?" The man lifted his face, revealing eyes filled with sorrow. "I am not of this side alone," he said. "Like you, I once saw the other realm. But I ran away from my calling. I hid. I tried to silence the message. I was afraid." Amara's heart clenched. "You followed me." "Yes," he said, nodding slowly. "Because when you returned, the darkness saw you. They cannot enter the human world freely, but they can whisper into weak minds. They used me. They guided my fears. They wanted me to stop you from delivering the message." He lowered his head again. "But I have seen what happens when someone refuses the calling. It destroys everything inside." He stared at her glowing wrist. "You still have a chance. The world still has a chance." White medium star, the mark turns white. Suddenly, Amara felt a burning sensation on her wrist. She gasped. The golden glow was fading, changing, shifting, into white. A bright, piercing, divine white. Just like the old woman had warned. Her time had run out. The crowd fell to their knees, shielding their eyes from the blinding light. Amara stood alone in the center of the brightness, trembling as a voice, neither male nor female, filled the air around her. "Speak!" The command shook the ground. Trees bent. The sky rippled. Even the moon flickered. Amara fell to her knees, feeling every memory of her death rush back into her mind. The darkness, peace, the guide, the visions, the souls crying out, the fading spark of hope, the burden, the calling, choice. She finally understood. The message was not complicated. It wasn't mystical. It wasn't something divine beings needed to spell out. It was something humanity already knew, but had forgotten. She rose slowly to her feet. Her voice trembled. Her heart pounded. Her soul glowed. And then she spoke. "White medium star, the message." Her voice echoed like a bell. "The world is dying of emptiness. Not because there is no love, but because people have stopped showing it. Her words vibrated across the night. People gasped. Some cried. Some fell to their knees. Amara continued. We hurry but we do not connect. We speak but we do not listen. We live beside each other but we live alone. Hearts break quietly. Lives fade silently. People carry invisible wounds. Yet none ask, how are you really? The crowd froze, hanging on to every word. The light around her intensified. The spirits showed me a truth. Humanity has not lost its light. It has only forgotten how to share it. She raised her glowing hand. The message is simple. Heal each other. Forgive more. Love louder. Listen deeply. Be present. Be kind. Be human. People began to weep openly. Mothers hugged their children tightly. Old men bowed their heads in regret. Friends embraced each other with renewed warmth. Strangers held hands. And the man with the black eyes sobbed into the dirt. Amara continued. The world does not end when the sun stops shining. The world ends when hearts stop caring. The light pulsed one final time. In silence. Will. Peaceful. And the mark on her wrist vanished. Completely. White medium star after the message. Amara collapsed, and the crowd rushed toward her. Her mother held her tightly, sobbing with relief. The man with black eyes rested his forehead on the ground, whispering prayers under his breath. People touched Amara's hands, shoulders, feet, grateful for her courage. When she opened her eyes, she smiled weakly. Not because she was strong, not because she was chosen, but because she had finally done what she came back to do. The message had been delivered. The burden had been lifted. The world had been reminded. White medium star, the world begins to change. Over the following weeks, strange things happened. People reconciled with old friends. Enemies forgave each other. Families healed. Communities grew closer. Strangers helped strangers. Amara's words spread far beyond her village, carried by travelers, recorded on phones, whispered in marketplaces, shared across cities and continents. She didn't return to the afterlife. Not yet. Because she wasn't sent back to die. She was sent back to live. And to help others live better. White medium star, the end. And the beginning. Years later, when people spoke of the night the world changed, they remembered the light, the glowing mark, and the girl who returned from death. But most of all, they remembered the message. Love is not lost. People only forget to give it. So give it freely. And Amara, the girl who died, crossed beyond, and returned, became a symbol of hope for generations.